I'm not starting out the video like that. Today, we're going to be talking about The Catcher in the Rye. Anyways, so, The Catcher in the Rye is a pretty good book. I'd say it's pretty good. Definitely not for the good grades. I'm going to be willingly talking about The Catcher in the Rye and giving it a little summary. So let's get started. Alright, so the book begins with Holden Cauliflower. He talks about, his family, his parents who are quite touchy, his words not mine, and how his, brother DB is a writer and is a prostitute, which he really isn't, obviously. Also has a sister, Phoebe. I don't know, she's ginger. Holden goes to Pensy, and he doesn't really have a good reputation there. I mean, he literally did leave, all the equipment on the bus. There's two people in Pensy that I want to talk about, and that's Stradlater and Ackley. Ackley, he's your typical nerd. Yeah. And then you have Stradlater, who is the handsome guy. And Holden finds out that Stradlater is dating Jane Gallagher. Two things. One, I get it. This red bow tie is really distracting and I should really take it off. And two, Jane Gallagher, is Holden's ex. Holden Cauliflower's like, man, I'm gonna leave Pensy. So he packs his bags and he gets ready to go to New York City. So when Holden gets there, right, to New York, he gets his hotel and, he settled down. And then he looks out the window. It's people spitting water into their mouths. A guy dressing up as a girl. I don't actually remember where I left off. Holden decides, you know what? Screw this. I'm going to go out to a bar and get drinks. So he does that and he meets these three girls. Why did I put up 4 fingers? He thinks one of them's attractive. So he's like, care to dance with the girl. He realizes, man, this kind of sucks. So he goes back to his room. And as he's in the elevator, you have the fire pimp himself, Maurice. And he's like, $5 a throw. 15 bucks a, a night or something? So Holden's like, why not hire a prostitute? And then Holden's like, man, I don't even want to do this no more. So Holden's basically like, why not just talk to this, prostitute? Before Sonny leaves, she's like, all right, that'll be, $10. And Holden's like, hold up. Holden up. I thought you said 5. They fight. Sonny leaves. Maurice comes in, and he's like, yo, give me the money. Or whatever. I don't know. And Holden's like, no. You said, 5 a throw. And then he gets beaten up again. So now is the time where we talk about Allie, which is Holden's brother. Yeah, Allie's dead. Holden, right, he's like, oh, I'm so depressed. And, he's walking down the street or whatever. And he sees these 2 nuns. And doesn't think nuns are phonies. And that's, the only other really people he thinks is not a phony, except for Jane. He calls up Sally, and he's like, yo, Sally, you want to go out on a date? And Sally's like, why not? So they go on a date, W Rose for Holden. During the date, Sally gets kind of annoying to Holden, and he's just kind of like, you're annoying? And then Sally's like, where? And I was like, stop! After the whole thing with Sally, Holden just kind of does stuff. He goes to a museum, he does this, he does that, blah blah blah, talks about sex life with his old friend, just casual stuff. So he goes back to his house after all this time, even though it's been 2 days, 3 days. So yeah, Holden basically goes back to it. He sneaks into his house, and he sees Phoebe. Woohoo! And Phoebe is I don't know, a child. Holden just starts rambling about, oh, this, that, phony. And Phoebe's like, is there something that actually makes you happy? And Holden goes and thinks Allie. He finds a kid who jumps out a window and, killed himself, but we don't really talk about that.
Of a high-speed pursuit on the 101 this afternoon. Officers tell us the driver of that blue two-door is 17-year-old Jason Slow of Moore Park. He's wanted for reckless... So, back to the story. As you see guys here, Mr. Antolini, as you see him right here, very distinct kind of face looking, you know, with the weird glasses and everything. And he pops up and he says, I'm a pedophile. Like, towards like at the end of the story, Phoebe, as you see here, she's very smart and she's also very ginger. She's on a merry-go-round. And then Holden, over here, his beautiful hat, you know, he sees her on the merry-go-round grabbing onto a rail. But Holden doesn't say anything at all. He's zip, zip, zip. Because he wants Phoebe to experience what it's like learning from her mistakes.
Bye everyone, and have a good night.